The Olmec civilization. The Olmec civilization was in present-day southern Mexico near the Gulf Coast. The Olmecs were prominent between 1200 BC and until 400 BC. Along with influencing the Mayans, they had two very important cities, San Lorenzo and La Venta. San Lorenzo was famous for its earth mounds, pyramids, and courtyards. It also had large stone monuments. Most famous, though, are the head monuments thought to be possible Olmec leaders. In La Venta, it was thought to be the capital of Olmec's religion. They had 100-foot pyramid that could possibly be the tomb of a king. Religion was huge for these people, and they were thought to have many gods. They were known to worship a half-human, half-jaguar rain god. Along with this, the Olmec people were very economically prosperous and thought to have traded throughout all of Mesoamerica. The arts were also very distinct for the Olmecs. They had jaguar motifs, irregular facial features, and architectural techniques that were quite influential and lasting. Their culture was shown to have planned ceremonies and an elite ruling class of people. There was no real system of writing, but evidence of stone symbols that influenced glyph writing. The decline seemed to come from either outsiders invading, conquering, or they destroyed themselves after their prominent leaders died. Geographic features and their influences. Their civilization was on the Gulf Coast, and it was very hot and swampy. This was in the jungle, and the giant trees prevented any sunlight from coming in. Sometimes they could even get up to 100 inches of rain for a year. There was some advantages to that. They have deposits of salt and tar found in the area. There's clay for their pottery works. There's rubber and wood from the jungle. Stone in the northern hills. Rivers for transportation. And fertile floodplains for farming. The people that are there now are mostly from the Tabasco state in Mexico. Most people there are farmers of tropical crops or livestock breeders. Their crops can include rice, corn, yucca, sweet potatoes, and squash. And some of their exports include cacao or cocoa, sugar canes, bananas, and coconuts. The biggest changes, though, are the people there today have oil fields, and it's their main trade of their economy. 16% of jobs in the area is in this field, while farming has decreased, only 8% is there. And other parts of this civilization are located in present-day Veracruz. 35% of Mexico's water is in this region. Minerals found here include iron, copper, silica, sulfur, calcium, feldspar, and marble. Here, agriculture is still important, but they also manufacture textiles. The port of Veracruz is a huge tourist location because of its beach. Exports here include coffee, fish, crustaceans, fruit, and sugar. Also, they export fertilizer. The next civilization is the Zapotec civilization. It was located in present-day southwestern Mexico in the Oaxaca state, and it lasted between 1000 BC and 700 AD. This civilization shows Olmec influences, but is still unique. San Jose Mogoti is one of the sites found. There were stone platforms there, temples, and monuments. By 500 BC, there's evidence of an early writing system already in the works, a calendar system. Monte Alban was an urban center thought to be established in 500 BC, yet its peak years were probably between 250 BC and 700 AD. Its location on the top of the mountain in the center of the valley. This view of the entire valley led them to power. By 2000, by 2000 BC, they had a population of 15,000 residents, and eventually grew to over 25,000 people. They had pretty distinct art and architecture, especially their stone architecture. They had a huge stone paved plaza in the center of the city. They had huge pyramids, temples, and palaces, all made from stone. Also the city. Also the city featured an observatory for the use of their calendar system. The Zapotec people also had carvings of corpses. This showed Olmec influential features. Like the Olmec people, little is known about the decline and fall of this civilization. It was thought to be sometime after 600 AD, but by then they had ruled for over 1,000 years, possibly because of economic/trade downfall. This includes they had the hieroglyphic writing system and the development of a calendar, which was based on the sun's movement. The Zapotec people were the first city builders. They had ceremonial grandeur and residential living space, which other Mesopotamians copied, and they inspired future urban center designs. Their geography of the region was quite mountainous with valleys. The exact location was where three valleys met to make the Oaxaca Valley. In here they had fertile soil, a mild climate, and enough precipitation. Many people lived here because of the ideal conditions. Zapotec had various villages throughout the valley. Mount Auburn was so prosperous because of its location on the mountain. Today, it's Oaxaca state in Mexico, and tourism is the lead industry. The famous Zapotec ruins are mountains and valleys and beaches lure people in. Other than that, it is now very poor and relies on fruits and vegetable crops and native artisan projects to support its economy. The Chavan civilization. The ancient Chavan civilization was located in the Peruvian Andes Mountains in the northern highlands of Peru. The civilization lasted from 900 BC to 200 BC. Their architecture included mounds, pyramids, and plazas. The civilization spread across northern and central Peru. However, there was no evidence of any political or economic structure, but it was a very religion-centered civilization. Their artistic and religious influences was powerful enough to spread to other civilizations. Some of their religious or art images could be seen on textiles, pottery, or stone carvings. These ancient Peruvians visited temples to pay respects and then brought back their ideas to their own communities. This helped unify all Andean cultures and set for future civilizations in Peru. This is why they can be considered the mother culture of South America. Geography. The Chiavan people were in the Andes Mountains. It was between in a strip of desert between the Pacific Ocean and the Andes. There, it was hot and dry during the day, but freezing at night. Today, in the highlands of Peru, the amount of poverty there is high because of their limited resources. Mountainous areas reduce the economic opportunities that other parts of the countries have. Peru's economic rise didn't affect the region much because of this location. The Nazca civilization. This civilization was located in southern Peru, covering the area from the Pacific coast to Ayacucho, a present-day city in Peru, and this lasted between 200 BC and 600 AD. Here farming methods were developed, irrigation systems and canals for farmings, and even underground canals were built. Arts were a big part of this culture. Art forms like textiles and pottery were prominent and almost always featured the motifs of animals or even mythological creatures. Nazca civilization's most distinct feature, though, were the Nazca lines. The Nazca lines were a set of creations that both puzzled and intrigued tourists and specialists alike. Over 1,000 configurations were made, mostly of humans, animals, geometric shapes, and plants. They were so large that the patterns are only able to be recognized by air. They were thought to be created from 200 BC to 600 AD in the plains of southern Peru, and it was originally discovered in 1927 AD. Some theories about these origins of these creations include the possibility that they had sky gods and made these to worship them, or it showed the edges of ancient riverbeds or changes in elevation. There was a huge map of the underground water supply. Nazca geography. In southern Peru, it's extremely dry, so they developed farming methods. In Peru, the people living there today. It's a better economic conditions than present-day residents of where the Chavan used to be because it's closer to the coast. In all of Peru, the economy reflects upon its geography and its accessibility to its resources. The Mochi civilization. Mochi people were located on the northern coast of Peru, lasted from around 180 to 780. Distinct about the Mochi were their advanced farming systems. They had an impressive watering system for crops, which included potatoes, squash, beans, corn, and peanuts. Evidence of a religion includes enormous tombs, and the enormous tombs hinted that the Mochi civilization was a very wealthy civilization. The jewelry found inside the tombs were made up from materials such as silver, gold, and semi-precious stones. The pottery of the Mochi were unique and depicted everyday events such as doctors and patients, women weaving, musicians and instruments, soldiers capturing enemies. But this culture had no written language, but the pottery gives us plenty of information about the Mochi lifestyle. Like the other cultures of the time, people don't know understand their religion or why they fell. Because of their location around the rivers flowing around northern Andes, they took advantage of the rivers and developed irrigation systems for farming. The new civilization living in the Lambayeque Valley, its location were the northern Peruvians. Minerals can be found there because of its mountainous region. Approximately 70% of Peru's oil production is produced in northern Peru. Also in this specific area, better economic conditions because of its coast and because of the economic trade of fishing being available. That's the end.